Major Beats, the heavy hitter.
You have entered the doors to This Is Where Zap podcast, also known as TIWIA. So therefore, you are now affiliated. You are now family. Thank y'all for stopping by. We want you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also turn on post notifications so you know when we post our videos. Yes, we have dope content, so you will never ever miss it once you hit that bell. Thank y'all for stopping by. I go by the name of El Jefe. I'm your host, and I got my partner, my co-host, Shelly Baby, in the house. Talk to you guys soon. Peace. And we are back. That's right, we are back. Thank y'all for stopping by. This is Where Zap Podcast. Once again, it's your boy, your co-host, your brother from another mother, El Jefe. And I have my other partner, my friend, my co-host, and she goes by the name of
Shelly Baby.
Rocking with me in the house. Hope you guys had a great weekend and a great Monday, because today's Tuesday. And guess what? We got nothing but love for everybody out there. Let's spread a lot of love and peace all over the world. And right now, you know it. Sing that song. Sing it, Shelly.
Just kidding.
She was about to hit a note for y'all, but she changed her mind at the last minute.
I already hit the note. Don't trip.
Oh man, we are back, and it's good to be here with everybody out there. Man, I tell you, we got something for y'all today. We got a topic. The thing is, how do you know when it's time to leave a relationship that's being forced to work? You're being forced to stay.
Game over.
When is it time to go? When is it time to leave? That's the question. We might have an answer, or maybe a few answers, but again, it will be in our opinion. Everything is our opinion, okay? Just want y'all to understand. So when you guys go through breakups and all that, don't blame us. Don't come running to This Is Where Zap podcast and say, hey, LFA, Shelly Baby, you just messed up my relationship. Because I'm going to say, hell no, we ain't did nothing. I plead the fifth. We just gave advice. That's all we do.
Again, our opinion.
Exactly. Our opinion. You don't have to follow anything we say or do. We just paved the road and say, hey, you know what? This is a choice. You don't have to make it.
Like, you can get with this.
You can get with that. But you know, it's hard to stay in a situation where you know you aren't happy. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to be forced to stay with you and I'm not happy. You might be happy, or you might be partially happy, because if I'm not happy, then you have to at least be not halfway happy either, you know? Especially if you already know I want to leave. I'm already showing you signs of unhappiness.
And there are signs, and that is what I'm going to elaborate on in a few, but there are definitely some telltale signs of when you know that one or both are forced in a relationship where you need to call it quits.
Right. Right. Because I know, like, I work hard with the relationships, right? But it comes a time when that hard work has to let up. Say, hey, you know what? If this person is not putting as much energy as I'm putting in, and they're not giving me that respect, or just have an understanding, or just being on the same accord with me with things, just understand where I'm coming from within the relationship. Do things to make me happy. So don't try to force someone to stay with you if they want to leave as well. Because that might be your way out.
Right.
It might be your way out, because maybe that isn't the person for you. But
Exactly.
you're trying to make it work. So it's like the opposite way. It's like you could be forced to stay, or someone could be forcing them have you leave. Think about that. If I don't want to be with you, I'm gonna be out.
Right.
If you don't want to be with me, I'm gonna still be out.
Right. Exactly.
That's how I see it. That's the point I'm trying to make to y'all. So anyway,
Yeah.
what's your outlook on this, Shelly?
Well, I mean, we have to stop looking at, failed relationships or someone not wanting to be in the relationship as a means of, feeling rejection. There's this popular cliche where it says, a rejection could very well be, God's protection. We don't look at it from that perspective, but sometimes I feel like we have to. Because like I said, I don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me.
Right.
I can see the telltale signs. I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person is not happy, then they're not going to do whatever it takes, to maintain a healthy relationship. Because it takes both parties to do that. So when you talk about forcing a relationship, usually it's one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feeling that you get. It's one-sided. And, I don't want to be the one pouring into the relationship, because at some point, when you keep pouring into the relationship and the other person is just withdrawing from you, then it's going to be out of balance. And that's not a good feeling.
Right. At all.
It's really not. It's not a good feeling at all. So I think some of the signs that, some of the signs that, are evident, in a relationship that's forced, is that you sometimes you're in fear. Like, people are afraid, I feel, of being alone. And we've talked about this before. Sometimes it's okay. Just understand that, okay, maybe that person wasn't for you, or maybe that other person wasn't for you. But sometimes you just have to fall back and just learn to be patient. Wait. Learn how to wait for what it is that you really want. But a lot of times people don't do that because, again, they want to force someone they really want to make it work with to be with them.
Right.
Because, again, they're afraid of being alone. And sometimes that's when you find out what it is that you really want, and you find out more about yourself. Mm-hmm. See, when you find out more about yourself, that's when you know for certain what it is that you really want. And not only that, most importantly, what you need. Right. Because
that is true.
Sometimes it's not about the person that you want and what they can bring to it. It's really about, do I need this person? Does this person need me? Mm-hmm. It's almost like being assigned to that person, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Right.
But if you're overly accommodating or extremely tolerant, mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. That's when you know, you're doing too much. When people say you're doing too much, if somebody says you're doing too much, then you need to fall back.
Right.
That means that it's either they don't appreciate what you're doing, or they know that you're trying to force something that should just, flow organically. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No.
And that's what I was going to say as well.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not something that's natural, and you can feel when someone's being organic or natural, just being, who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times people, let's just say in the marriage situation, people say, well, how do I know when to leave? Because I signed some papers that says until death do us part.
Right. That's a tricky one.
Because we're going to get those questions soon.
Yeah, we will, I'm sure. But that's a tricky one because, there's the contract involved. There are vows involved that, to place in front of, witnesses and things of that nature, and in front of God, and, that sort of thing. So, people tend to look at that a little bit differently than just a general boyfriend girlfriend type of connection.
Right.
So, and then if there are children involved, if there's property involved, different things like that, it gets a little bit tricky.
Right.
So
it's different. It's different when things are involved.
It's a different category when there's marriage, in the picture. But I don't really want to talk about the marriage aspect of it. Just more or less like, a relationship, between man and woman, or whatever the case may be, and just kind of talk about some of the signs of how the relationship is being forced, and it's just, like I said, just one-sided.
Right.
You have it where one person is putting forth all of the effort and the other person is not. That I've been there.
Right. We all been there.
Yeah, that's exhausting. That is so exhausting, to say the very least. And if you're the only one initiating conversation or communication, communication in a relationship shouldn't feel like a chore.
Right.
That should also feel natural as well. And you should feel comfortable going to your partner and saying, hey, this is, what I want to talk about, what we need to talk about. Is it okay? Blah, blah, blah. Rather than it just be a situation where you feel as though you're walking around on eggshells. But again, sometimes that's, you being tolerant when you're accepting behavior you don't really deserve. But, just to keep the peace, I'm just not going to say anything. Nah, you're trying to force something because that person, you've already picked up cues that person is not really interested.
Right.
And, if you feel like you're the only one planning a future together, if you're not sitting down talking to your mate and you're not talking about a future together, then at some point, I'm not saying in the very beginning, because of course you want to grow into that, but if you've been together for over a year, it's a change, and y'all not talking about a future together, I'm not saying it's a red flag, but it might be a yellow one.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I don't know. And if you're always at odds, I don't like to argue. I just don't, because I feel like I communicate pretty effectively to where I can convey how I feel and what my thoughts are without being disrespectful. And then just, saying how I feel. Now, if somebody says, oh, you're nagging and you're doing this and I'm like, okay, well, you really don't value,
how you feel,
like what I'm feeling and,
right.
What I'm thinking. And so now you're wanting to make a mountain out of a molehill, so that will kind of make me feel like you're disinterested in what I have to say. So I have to determine, okay, are we going to make this work? Because I believe in healthy communication.
Right.
I believe in that.
Gotta have that in order for it to work. Anyway, that's supposed to be before the relationship.
Oh, absolutely. If you at that, I guess you can say, quote unquote, friendship stage, if you're at odds all the time, you're arguing, you just don't agree on just general stuff.
Yeah, it's not.
He's
not the one. Yeah, they're not the one. You guys aren't for each other.
Right. Don't even try to go to the next level. Just say, hey, we can just be cool right here.
Right.
Set that boundary and move on to something else.
Exactly. So I know some people, right? Like they are in relationships, but the thing is, one feels obligated to stay, though the other one's trying to force it to work. But this person feels obligated to stay because if they left, this person wouldn't be financially stable. So they wouldn't have, of course, they don't have a job now because he's taking care of her. So if he wanted to leave, then he would be leaving her in a situation where she can't take care of herself.
So you're in a relationship out of a means of convenience.
Right. But
that's not going to work either.
Her excuse is, to him, from what he told me, is she has no family. The family she does have, they don't get along. The cousins and aunts, they do not get along at all. So she has no one to fall back on. So he feels like he has to take care of her. So my question to him was, well, how are you going to get out of it? Because he already has his eyes set on somebody else.
Oh, see, I was about to say that when you think of being with someone else, or what it would be like to be with someone else, or you just simply feel like you're better off alone, that's when you know it's like it's a wrap.
Right. Because he already told her that he's not interested anymore. But he said he feels obligated because he took her from a family member's home and he promised that he would take care of her because that family member passed away already.
Okay.
So my thing is this, like I told him, I said, you know what? You're not married to her. So the time that she's taken not working or doing anything, she should have been working. Just in case a situation like this does happen. They have no kids.
Well, that's an easy break.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she should have been working.
Break. Look, it's tons and tons and tons and tons of jobs available now.
Yeah.
There's no excuse not to have, a job. It may not necessarily be what you want to, do right away, but at the end of the day, before allowing yourself to be codependent on someone else, right, especially if you've already, like I said, you've picked up these cues that they don't want to be with you. I mean, that's an uncomfortable feeling. I'm sorry, that's just me. I would feel so uncomfortable just even being in the same household, same presence with that person. So that's when it's my cue to be like, all right, let me go ahead and make it do what it do for me. But, he might be codependent, even though he's saying, I feel obligated, this, that, the third, whatever. That's still a sense of codependency. There's something that she's bringing to the table. And there's something that he's bringing to the table with her.
Right.
Now, it just still might be just a matter of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
But
and that's what I'm thinking it is for her.
But hey, my thing is this. If you want to continue to be with someone and it's not making you happy, but yet you make a conscious decision to be with that person, stop complaining.
Right. That's what it comes down to. It's not like you're trying to find, you're not going to, have a cop out or just feeling like you putting this person in a position to do bad because she's already doing bad because she doesn't work.
Right.
So like me, I wouldn't feel like I'm obligated to anybody. If you're not my wife, I'm not obligated to you.
All right.
So in his situation, if you already have your eyes on someone else, that means you already been communicating with somebody. So at some point, this person is going to ask you, when are you going to leave her? Because I want all of your attention.
All right.
And it's going to happen. So I think that he should just tell her, hey, I'm going to give you 30 days to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she already knows that he's not into her anymore, then why are you still trying to sit? It's kind of like, I don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. The baby and Daniel, that girl situation, except there's no kids involved. He wants her to go, but she won't leave.
There is a baby involved. Oh, you're talking about in this?
I'm talking about the people I'm talking about.
I got you.
There's no kid involved. So, like, she wants to stick around, but he doesn't want to just put her out. Mm-hmm. So, he needs to let her know, hey, you got, 30 days, 60 days to get a job, get your money up. Or
let me ask you this question. Is she using manipulative tactics? Like, when you pull me from here and you said you was going to take care of me and you said you were going to do this, that, and the third, and, you need to honor your word. And look,
I'm not sure if that's what she's using, but that's what he told me that he did. He had an understanding that this particular person was on their last leg. They didn't have much longer to live. And he promised that person that he was going to take care of the person that he's with. Now, he says she's a good person, but she has a lot of flaws and a lot of ways that he does not like, that just happened, I guess, within the past year. They've been together 3 years. So he says she stays on the internet. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to put their names out. So she stays on the internet all day, posting, doing videos on Facebook, always talking about what other people got going on in their lives. And he said he's just not with the gossiping. He's not with all of the things she's about. She doesn't want to leave the house unless it's going out to eat somewhere. She does not clean the house. He said he works and have to still come home and clean after he's talked to her about it for a long time now. The only thing she does is wash clothes. And check this out. He said when she washes clothes, she puts it in the dryer and they put it in the basket, to fold. She only folds the clothes a day at a time. Like she'll fold color clothes and then she'll fold the white clothes the next day. She don't fold the clothes at the same time. It's like she don't even do it the whole, what I'm saying, like in one segment of folding clothes. She just do it partially. So when he has to get some clothes, he got to go into the basket where the clean clothes is in and find the socks to match it all up and everything. He said he's tired.
Well, at least you don't have to go in the dryer.
Might as well left the clothes in the dryer doing all that.
Woo! Hey, I mean.
But he just says she's lazy. That's point blank period. She's lazy. She don't want to do anything. So he said he's tired of it. He feels that she's not for him. He said in the beginning they were cool, but when they started staying together.
Ooh, that's why it's different. You gotta be careful who you let into your home. But anyway, I guess they were together for an extended period of time before he allowed her to come and live with her. But you also have to be very careful about what you say.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of quote unquote promises that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will try to hold you to it. So you have to be careful about that. So you have to know for certain, okay, is this the person that I really want to be with? Is this the person that I would like to spend the rest of my life with? Can you see yourself spending the rest of your life with that person before you even consider having them come up in your life?
The only time I am going to someone, whoever I'm seeing parents, and say, hey, I promise to take care of your daughter, is when I'm going to ask them for their blessings to marry their daughter.
Right.
I'm not going to go to nobody's parent or whoever she's staying with, aunt, cousin, and say, hey, I love your daughter. I promise I'm going to take care of her. If anything goes on, I got her back. I'm not going to tell nobody that because I know at any time things can change.
Right.
So that was a lesson for me, just knowing that he was going through it. So that's why I said, sometimes you got to show tough love at the end. You got to say, hey, you on your own. I'm done. We're done. 30 days.
Yeah, because
bye-bye.
If you get to the point where you start lying to your partner just to keep the peace and you don't have any desire to introduce them to your
he said
family,
he told her. He already told her he doesn't want it anymore. So he said he don't want to do anything drastic and bring his new friend over. That's going to be something else. He did. But it's his house. He already told her he didn't want it anymore. But he said, I'm just to the point to where I might just have to bring that person over. Then she might get the message then.
Ooh, child. I mean, it's a timeline for everything, So I think, I don't know. Me personally, I don't believe in stepping outside of a relationship and forming something new just because you're unhappy. Because then at that point, I'm going to look at you crazy. Right. Because you had an opportunity, if you were the one that was unhappy. Mm-hmm. And especially if you conveyed that information to me, you expressed that. Right. And now it's the time for me to accept responsibility and start making, things happen so I can make the move. But to step out of the relationship and start seeing someone else and then try to, bring that person around to make a point, that's messy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really messy. But wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, I think there's a right and a wrong way of handling things. And I would say that both of them, really, in my opinion, are in the wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know if there's going to have to be some type of mediation involved to where the peace can at least exist. Because she sounds to me, based upon what you're saying, that she sounds to be somewhat content with just having things the way they are.
Right.
As long as I'm being taken care of, type mentality, I don't have to work, I don't have to pay any bills, I can just be on Facebook or social media, whatever, all day long, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's, I can't relate to that mentality, because your girl gonna be working.
Right. Gotta make that money.
Yes, I gotta make that money. I got bills to pay. So
that's right.
At the end of the day, that's for me. I have bills to pay. So, and money, it's not about just luxury and all that. It's about comfortability and accessibility.
Right.
So, but, he's got to just, I think, I'm not sure. I mean, I think with different states, there is a law in place. If you have someone in your home,
mm-hmm.
There you have to give them.
And people use that a lot, called common law.
Well, no, not the common law. I'm talking about, like, if you have someone living with you, even if you're not in a relationship, if you have mm-hmm. someone in your home, you have to give them this amount of time for them to make that exit.
Right.
So, but he might need to get it in writing, get it notarized. So that way there's no misunderstanding. This is, what I need to do, because otherwise it can turn really ugly.
Right. Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. So everybody out there, just like I said, it's our opinion mm-hmm. that if you're in a situation to where you feel like you just can't get away from that person, take some time to think about it. Don't think too long. But how long do you want to stay unhappy? How long can you go through that process of being unhappy with someone that you no longer have feelings for? When are you going to say this is it? When are you going to say, hey, I'm leaving or you're leaving? So you need to make that ultimate decision quickly, because don't wait till you find somebody and then you want to, not necessarily cheating, because if you're not with that person anymore, you already told her or him that you don't want to be with them anymore. It's not really cheating, but you just want to make sure everything is clean in the end.
Right.
Make sure you just wipe that person off. Hey, you're out. Good. Now I can date somebody or date the person I already have my eyes on.
And free them up to date someone else, And because, like I said, sometimes people will allow themselves.
I didn't hear that part again. Say that first part again.
I said, and free them to date other people or to see other people as well.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Because
find the person you want to be with.
Right. That's why I said, me personally, I couldn't be with someone knowing that they don't want to be with me.
Right.
I just, I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time. And in retrospect, you're not going to waste mine either. Right. Because it's like we still have our lives to live, and this is not the end all be all. If you don't want to be with me, and it's like, it's time to turn the page. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another chapter. I feel like sometimes people, like I told you before, they're afraid of being alone. Right. We're impatient, and people who are, trying to force a relationship in many cases, there's some level of impatience. They may be damaged. We talked about, we talked about mommy issues, daddy issues, things like that. They may just be controlling or insecure. Mm-hmm. So, me personally, I would want to be with someone that I align with mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Right. If those things are not in place, it's
got to be in the order. It's got to be in the order. Physically got to be last.
That's right.
That's got to be last.
Well, I said mentally first.
Right.
it's a mental thing for me.
Right.
You can't stimulate my mind. You just wasting my time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, you guys heard it first from This Is Where It's At podcast. Here we speak the truth in our opinion. That's right. So again, if you're unhappy, figure out a way. Figure it out. Figure it out.
And here's my word. There comes a day when you realize turning the page is the best feeling in the world, because you realize there is so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on.
Woo! I like that. Did y'all hear that out there?
They heard it.
They heard it. Man. So don't be stuck on that one page. There's other pages to read, baby. Get to the end. Finish it up.
Yeah, new chapters.
Put it all together.
I want to say something else, because I think this is important. You know, when someone is assigned to you, they couldn't leave you in if they wanted to. You gotta think about that. Think about that.
That's true.
When someone is attached, they couldn't stay longer, even if they wanted to. Now, that's something to really think about. That's why I said, you know, for me, I'm more concerned about whether or not this person is assigned to me, and am I assigned to them? You
have to be assigned and aligned.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
Very good.
Because if we're not on the same page, it's not going to work.
Not at all.
But guess who assigns people to you?
Jay.
Woo! Woo! That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. That's
so
why
if it ain't come that way,
tidbit in there.
Yeah. If that person don't come from him, I don't want you.
What you say? If it don't fit, you must quit.
Be out.
Yeah.
Be out.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the word of the day from your girl Shelly Baby. But we thank y'all for tuning in to This Is Where It's At podcast.
Yeah.
And we are out.
We're out.